What's up guys, Ben here, welcome to another video on my channel, FilmFanatic. I apologise if I sound a little bit nasally and unwell, it's because I am. My throat's absolutely killing me, so I might struggle a little bit through this video. But recently I went to see another horror movie that was getting really good reviews, so I figured I have to go see it, and I actually really liked it. So here's my review of Don't Breathe. Don't Breathe follows the story of Rocky, Alex and Money, three teenagers in Detroit who break into an army veteran's house to rob him. Ends up going totally wrong and they end up trapped in the house with this ex-army veteran who is blind. From the outside it looks like a really simple job, robbing an elderly blind man in his own home. It seems pretty easy. However, they find that it's not as easy as they think it is, as he is not as helpless as he seems. It ends up being an excellent cat and mouse game around the house. It's a very claustrophobic movie. It's a movie that has very little outside filming. A lot of it takes place in the one house, and that makes it really cool. But before I go any further into the plot, guys, spoiler alert. Rocky, Alex and Money break into this man's house hoping to find what they believe to be a six-figure payout. It turns out that the army veteran's daughter was actually killed in a hit and run, and the family who did it ended up paying him a lot of money to stay quiet. So they still believe the money's in the house somewhere, and it's going to be easy pickings with a blind man walking around. However, like I said, he is not as helpless as it seems, and he ends up fighting back, and he ends up killing Money very early into the story. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Money was gonna end up being one of the characters who is annoying throughout the movie and ends up getting into more trouble than he's worth. But the fact they killed him off so early, and the fact they showed the blind man having no mercy for these people who had broken into his house, it set up the rest of the movie brilliantly. What it also did was very clever, because the blind man obviously can't see that there's more than one person, so when he kills that one guy, he thinks it was only one guy breaking in, and he doesn't realise there's actually two more people about his house. Do you guys remember what I said about the movie being claustrophobic, where there are moments where Rocky and Alex are literally hiding next to the man's feet, and obviously he can't see them, he has to just hear them, and so if they stay totally silent he can't hear them, he doesn't know where they are. And so there are moments where he's literally walking about the house and he walks right by them as they're kind of balled up in a corner. It was proper edge of your seat stuff. And that happened throughout the movie. Even after the man realised there was two more people running about the house, there was still a lot of that in it. There was a lot of moments where the people I went with were literally on the end of our seats waiting to see what happened. Which is very rare in horror movies nowadays. In horror movies you're just looking for a jump scare or something, but this movie took it in a whole different direction and made it more of a thriller than a horror. On IMDb the movie's actually listed as a horror thriller, however I would say it's much more of a thriller than a horror. Yes, it has scary moments and yes, it has jump scares, however the movie relies on that intense feeling, that edge of your seat feeling that not a lot of horror movies do. Horror movies always go towards the jump scare moments. This movie went towards the intensity, and that is what made this movie brilliant. I have to talk about Stephen Lang, who is credited as the blind man. He didn't even have a name, this guy. At first I think he's just a quiet elderly blind man who's going about his life, not really bothering anybody. But then when it turns out he's actually quite cold-hearted and is ready to defend his house and defend his money for all his life, you end up sympathising a little bit with him, but he's also the villain in the story because he's attacking our heroes, who are also kind of villains because they're breaking into people's houses. It's an odd kind of seesaw effect. The start you're rooting at our heroes, then when you see this man you're thinking, that's a shame, surely he's the victim and we are rooting for the villains, and then it takes a twist and he's a villain and they're the victims. It's a total kind of flip the tables thing. There's a lot more to his character than just that. It turns out he has actually kidnapped the girl who killed his daughter and is keeping her tied up in the basement. What? And then you're led to believe he's actually a rapist as well, but he's not. The girl who took the life of his daughter, he believes deserves to give him another one, and so he injects her with her sperm to make him pregnant. And so now we're greeted with a totally messed up character. We thought he was just an elderly blind man who's a little bit crazy and is willing to kill, but now he's an absolute psychopath. I mean, there are moments where they're literally that close to getting out of the house and he drags them back in and then you're still in this claustrophobic little house. It's so well done. I don't know how to explain it. It's just proper edge of your seat, intensity fueled movie. And speaking about Stephen Lang, I had only seen him in one other thing, and that was Avatar. And so when I seen the trailers and realised that it was actually him, I thought, oh no, is he going to be able to do it? And my God, yes he could. And I had to dip into his Avatar character a little bit, dealing with the angry, aggressive character that Avatar brought, but then also he played the sympathetic, small, blind man very well as well. There's a moment in the movie where a lead character, Rocky, is actually tied up like the woman who killed his daughter was, and he goes to inject her with semen, and at that moment you're going, this guy's totally messed up, this He's a psychopath, he's insane. But he played it successfully. He didn't play it over the top, you know, where he's running about talking to himself and like that. He wasn't playing it like that. He was playing it as a simple man who's seen this as the right thing to do. He's seen this as the answer to his questions. Obviously he's wrong, but in his head he was right. And that's something you very rarely see in horror movies nowadays, is actually engaging characters. I've seen it a little bit in The Conjuring 1 and 2, however, I failed to see it in any really other modern horror movies. Go into a movie with really good storyline, decent actors who I haven't seen a lot of, so I was pleasantly surprised, and have them done successfully. I left the cinema feeling happy. I was happy. One of my friends mentioned how it wasn't shot like a normal horror movie. It wasn't shot with the usual shaky cam or anything like that. It was shot really artsy. It was kind of like an indie horror movie kind of feel. And so I left feeling I'd just seen a kind of small indie horror movie that was really good, but it wasn't. This had a decent budget as well. And that's it for me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and leave a like rating down below. I really do appreciate it. Go ahead and leave in the comment section, have you seen Don't Breathe, and what did you think of it? I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. So if you guys like the content and want to see more like it on my channel, go ahead and hit subscribe down below. I just recently hit 350 subscribers, so thank you so much for that. I'm getting ever closer to my goal of 500. If you guys could help me out, that would mean a lot. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care. Badoosh.